Hello everyone, welcome to another Eternal video. I know I haven't been doing as many of these recently, but that's all going to change. Set 7's coming out right away. I go over this a lot in the first video of this, which is just kind of the breakdown of the deck. It's not really my deck. It was originally made by Komodo. It was submitted to me by RookieBob. This is our Tournament of Power winner. So we took all of the ones from the different months that were sent to me over the summer, and we're now fighting them off against each other. We have a rare chance to be very high in the ranking, playing a fun sub deck, so we'll see how that goes. Not particularly excited about this hand, though. Big shout out, of course, to all of the subs and patrons who made this possible. We had a really great Tournament of Power this time, and I'm excited for all of the new brews that we're going to be getting right away in Flame of Zolta. So our next video should be around that. We don't have an actual release date still, but we're in the middle of the preview event, so I have to imagine soon? Soon has got to be the answer. But the idea of this deck, if you don't want to look entirely at the deck tech, is that we're an FTP control list, so we're going to be using Moment of Creation as kind of our finisher spell at the end of that. And it looks like we're probably against Ixtun. Ixtun is a big portion of the meta right now, so that would not surprise me. When I was climbing this month to this spot, it was a lot of the decks were going to be playing Ixtun. And I'm not sure how we do against that, because they have board wipes that can stop our Moment of Creation. It's a little bit... It's not a for sure thing, though, because we do have Display of Instinct, we do have Dissociate in the market to stop them from having an answer to Moment of Creation. But, yeah, it's going to be dicey. Basically, their deck is very similar, but more based on a lot of board wipes. So we're going to see a lot of Heart Tools and things like that. I'm going to keep that Zoe for extra card draw. We'll go with Wisdom here. We'll just be taking a little bit of a beating for a minute. And Royal Decree. Yeah. Unfortunately, I just kind of have to let this go off. I'd love the Wisdom, but I don't really want to use the display. Maybe I should have. If they get rid of the Moment of Creation is the thing, that we still have another one, so I'm not entirely worried about that. We still have Zoes to finish things off. I might have wanted to just counter that. Yeah. We still have Dissociate, so we have extras for all of these. I definitely didn't want to lead with Wisdom, because then that just draws us to Zoe, and I don't really want to show them more cards. This is just going to be a very, very obnoxious fight. It's a super tough battle for us. I think that we're pretty heavily underdogs for this one. Let's go ahead and grab another Fire Sigil so that we get close to our Zoe. Especially having the Aegis is obnoxious. We can go with a Treasure Trove, or we could just Strategize. I think that we're going to want to Strategize here. And they're not going to be a lot of units on their side of the board, so I actually kind of just want to get rid of something like Equivocate. I know their deck, and their deck is really going to just be trying to use Channel the Tempest to kill us that way. Don't get me wrong, they'll be happy enough to kill us with like a random Jotun Hurler or the Genève Merchant itself, but that's not their main way of actually winning these games. And now I could just Jotun Hurler. Certainly reasonable.
Don't make me angry.
I think that this is the way that I want to do this. We get rid of the Aegis so that we're not taking any more beats from that, and we can force them to use removal on the 3/3. Just kind of nice. I'd love to find a Garden of Omens. That's kind of our big problem right now, is that we need to find something like that. Yeah, I will definitely block. They're not really going to have any pump spells, so I've got to imagine like torches and things are the order of the day. They're not a unit deck, so imagining that they have something like a Finest Hour is wild. Yeah. Do they have second Royal Decree? They do. Oh, that's obnoxious. They had the reread. Yeah. That's very disgusting. So they can get rid of the Zoes. They might want to get rid of the Moment of Creation. I'd probably do that if I were them, because that's a wider board and they have to worry about it a little bit more. It ends the game a lot faster than Zoe does. Good play by them, though. As you can see, this deck is just very obnoxious. It's basically no units, and it's just a lot of hate over and over and over and over, turn after turn. So we're going to find that a lot. We're not going to want to play this Moment of Creation right away, because they're going to have a board wipe in hand. Like, they absolutely have it. There's no question they will. So the big thing is... Oof, wow, that is a lot of power. That's super brutal for us. Very, very awful draw. But the big thing is that we've got to try and draw out removal first. And force them to use it. Okay, at least Garden of Omens is helpful. We've not been drawing the way that I want to. That being said, they're a little bit stuck on power, so maybe that's kind of helpful. Yeah, this is the problem, though, is that they're stuck on power, but they actually have gas. Like, they're able to do things. We want to get our own Garden of Omens. They're just able to get everything down faster than us because they actually have answers. Us just kind of flooding and having all of our late game is real unfortunate. I can play Garden. But that's just not going to do all that much here for us. I could play the Moment of Creation, but similar kind of concept, right? Like, they're just going to board wipe us. I actually like Equivocate for our own units. Maybe I should have kept up the other one. We can probably just get rid of the Torch here. And we've got 1,000,000 power too, though. Ugh, I'm just super unhappy with the position that we're in. Probably should have used that display earlier on the Decree. But our opponents also just kind of had non-stop insane gas. Not a lot we can do about that necessarily. Jotun Hurler, which doesn't really do anything, so we're going to bottom that. We'll try and draw even more power out of our deck so we can hopefully stop drawing it. There's not a lot left in our deck. Even without the, even if you consider the Royal Decrees, we've flooded out pretty hard. That's going to be probably a channel. It might be something like Wrath, though, like a Harsh Rule. There's a lot of things they can grab here. They're just in an incredible position, and it's going to be really difficult to deal with this. I can actually play the Moment of Creation and hold up the Equivocate next turn, which is kind of nice. It's not a full counter or anything, but it does help. Yeah, this is going to be brutal. We've gotten rid of most of the Seek powers, even with the Royal Decree, right? Like we have 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yikes. Yeah, we're drawing a lot of Seek powers here. Even if you consider that they added so many into our deck, that's pretty unfortunate. And they have the counter. And now we just pass. Meltdown does nothing, but just the Garden of Omens activating itself is obviously super obnoxious. There's the Harsh Rule as we expected, which means that I can return one of them. This is probably a Torch, maybe Ice Bolt kind of card. It's a pretty bad way to go about this to try and win, but I don't really have a better option. Equivocate's not going to do anything against them. And we are still drawing power cards. Ooh, boy. Yeah, that is not at all helpful with how flooded we are. I can grab another Moment of Creation. No merchants for us yet. We're just really not hitting what we need.
Secrets don't stay buried
Unfortunate,
for long.
to say the least. Let's see what our opponent has. Yep, there's the channel. I can kill this. And then we take 1 billion damage. And they'll just have another one for next turn, is the way that their deck is going to work. I should have used the display on that early Royal Decree, but I don't know if it would have helped us. I mean, they just have such non-stop gas, and we are so incredibly flooded. Even considering all of those Seek powers. I mean, it's just been a little bit whack. Really, really hard to beat this level of difference between, like, power. So they have some torches held up. It doesn't really matter, because I've got to imagine they just kind of board wipe us here, or honestly just play another channel and kill us immediately. Are they just playing with us? Yeah, okay. Yeah, so they're just fooling around with us. There's no real reason for them to do that. Alright, they got us. GG. Easy 10 damage, and we are dead. Nothing you can do about that. I said probably stop that early Royal Decree, but with the ability to reread it the way that they did right away, that was just going to be nasty no matter what happened. Super disgusting game. It's a tough matchup for us, though. I think that the Ixtun deck is a little bit better suited. Definitely the board wipes are a really good answer to Moment of Creation. Moment of Creation is a lot better against a lot of like the Argenport decks that are running not really a lot of board wipes. They're running a lot of 1-for-1 removal, Yetis, and of course like the Praxis deck. Because again, 1-for-1 removal doesn't really deal with those, and they're just so big. There's not a lot that those decks can do about it. But against the Ixtun deck like that, it's a tough, tough matchup. And they had a much better hand than we did. So all of those things combined, definitely, you know, minor possible mistake from me. Really, really insane hand from our opponent. Flooding from us. And a bad matchup. Just kind of nailed their coffin shut. All right, here we are for game 2. And unfortunately, not a great start. Kind of like our triple Jotun Hurler opener from the last one. This one's good, though. I like this hand. It seems a little bit better. I remember Nico Henthal from yesterday. I feel like... Nico Henthal. I think they might have been running Yeti. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head what they had. So Hailstorm might come into play here. I've got this Strategize. Do I want to keep it or not? Like, yes. But I really need to get to that double Primal. I think I'm still going to keep the Strategize and see what we've got here. Okay, it's going to be Argent. So there's really kind of 3 decks that are running around. Maybe 4. Argenport, you've got Yetis, you've got Praxis, and you have Ixtun. As kind of the 4 main ones. Ixtun started getting played a little bit later yesterday, from what I saw. Get rid of the Ice Bolt. Keep Equivocate. Probably the other way around, I would think, actually. Well, both of them are going to be pretty good here, actually. Maybe I just get rid of Moment. Yeah, it's going to take too long to get off. We're going to wait for now. I can find a finisher later. We just want to stop them from having early Hojin nonsense that wrecks us, so this seems a little bit better. Alright, I like that. We'll just Treasure Trove. They don't have any, you know, charge kind of units, so we don't have to worry about that. We can just pass with everything down. If they do the... Ooh, Hidden Road Smuggler. I was going to say, if they do the kind of common combo of a Anointer into Hojin, then Hailstorm just cleans that up right away. They do get some value out of it. It's not a total loss for them, but not the worst for us either. What would they get out of the market? I've seen them run things like Shakedown. Could be obnoxious. Don't think I want to play the Depleted. I think we want to hold up Ice Bolt and Equivocate, and we'll see what happens. Probably Regent's Tomb is actually the most common thing that's going to happen here. Which I don't have a really great answer for. Yeah. Listen all y'all. It's a Sabotage. Let's get rid of that for now. They can get rid of either Ice Bolt or Hailstorm. I imagine it's going to be Hailstorm, but it could be wrong. It really depends on what their hand is, and if they want us to ramp, right? Yeah. If they want to get ramped, that's a thing. Not sure what I'm going to be doing with this resurface. It's definitely the play. I'm just trying to think of like what I can use. I think that I need to kill the site, so I think we need to go for the Display of Instinct. It's possible to want the Moment of Creation, but I can't play it immediately is the problem. So Display kind of looks like the best thing. And we still have the Ice Bolt for the next unit that comes down. Obviously they were worried about that, so that's nice. Opponent immediately keeps on top.
Welcome!
Oof, and has another merchant. That's really bad news for us. Don't like them going to the market that much. That being said, we are out of the meta for a lot of ways. Being at the top here, the meta is very insular. There's kind of just those 4 decks, so they might not know what to expect from us.
Touch of shadow.
Sure, they're going to pressure us into killing this, which, yeah, will do. I don't want them to keep it, so makes sense. Kind of need to kill the site. Now, I definitely do not need another power card out of that. Now the worry is, they have a lot of cards in hand. We don't really have any.
You've run far.
Certainly not great for us. I have not seen a Martial Ironthorn out of that deck, really. Huh. That's new.
Don't make me angry.
Play this to protect the site. I hate giving the info. I don't really have a choice. We'll Crest here as well. See what we get. Ice Bolt is nice.
Now it's my turn.
And Vara. I kinda wish I'd gotten a second Hailstorm. If I sacrifice it, then Hailstorm can clean things up. If I do sacrifice it, though, then I'm gonna lose this and then I don't have tomorrow's. Tough one. Wow.
Now it's my turn.
Yes, this is a little bit of a different Argenport deck. I actually haven't seen the Martial Ironthorns, or honestly Vara, for a little while, which is interesting. It makes sense to block here because we're basically trading a 3/3 for a 4/4 flyer that makes our spells cheaper. It's just going to be better for us.
Buried for long.
Problem is, Hailstorm really doesn't do anything right now. So we just have to pass. Hope to draw another Hailstorm soon. Maybe get a Moment of Creation so that we have a chance of having a wide Hoard here.
Your debt is due.
Yeah, attacking the site doesn't really matter now. I actually don't care too much about that. Need to go to the Tazbu before it becomes a bigger problem. This is not at all the deck that I was expecting. This is not really Paladins, right? Now we wipe the board. Still putting us behind, but in a slightly better position at least. Hopefully we can draw some of our, like, Wisdoms or Honor the Claws, something like that. Wow! Okay, triple Vara is pretty buck wild. No torches or anything from us either to answer displays. Like, ugh, no Equivocates. Just kind of haven't gotten a lot of what we want here against this style of deck. I thought that the Hailstorm would add up being pretty good, but they're a different deck than I assumed, for sure. Quite a bit different. And yeah, having mono 5/5s has been very, very good. Just all Vara's, Martial Ironthorns, and Merchants is surprisingly pretty solid as a draw, especially when we are not hitting anything. Ugh. Brutal, brutal, brutal. Alright, well. There's a top deck. So yeah, I have to block this. There's no way that we can win here. I'd be stunned if we do. Better chances to do this than anything else. Citywide ban. Sure. So it looks like they might have tried to make a new deck to adjust to some of what people were doing. It's a little bit late, friends. It's too bad this is unfortunately only enemies. But we'll do this, and then we've got the good play to make, which is this. Yeah, we need to draw more card draw, get sights a little bit earlier, things like that. The Regent's Tomb on turn 4 is really, really, really good against us. And then just, man, triple Vara, double Martial Ironthorn is a sick, sick draw against what we're trying to do here. Especially when we draw Hailstorms instead of things like Equivocates or Torches to maybe clear up Varas when we have Jotun Hurler, stuff like that. Yeah, just bad, bad, bad matchup for our draw and theirs. Well, we've seen our first merchant. Unfortunately, we don't have any power cards, so we're just gonna have to redraw again. And yeah, I think we have to redraw again. Not really cooperating with us. We need to find some undepleted power or some seek powers or something. We're not really hitting them. Deck is not cooperating with us. We're also getting some tough matchups. We want to see things like Yetis or some even Paladins to have a little bit of a better chance. This hand is really, really, really rough, but it's at least got some things that we can play, which admittedly isn't wonderful, but there's really not a whole lot we can do about it. And this is interesting. We're seeing some of the cards from set 7 out of our opponent. I'm interested to see what this deck is, because this is new. Alright, that is a good draw, because it at least gets us a little bit deeper into our deck and might be able to get us some answers to something here.
Grodog preserves us.
Starting off with one heck of a rough start. And we're going to Aurelian Merchant away the Zoe here, actually. And I feel like we might want to go for, like, a Saber-Tooth Prideleader. They seem pretty aggressive. I can go for time off of this, and then we can just hold up Saber-Tooth and kind of get them on attack here. It looks like they might be an Obelisk-style deck, too. Yeah, that's definitely seeming like it's a good bet for us. When you play Wisp on turn 0, because you've got the Lumen Shepherd, I'd be very surprised if you're not playing Obelisk. But that means that we should be able to get them pretty good. So it's going to pass the turn, hold up the Saber-Tooth. Clock of Stolen Hours. So similar. Not quite the same. I mean, just swing all out? Or are they suspecting the Prideleader? Do they know that I've downloaded them? Have they in return re-downloaded us? Are we now torrenting each other? How tortured? Can I make this metaphor? Stay tuned. Alright, no, they have decided to call us. Unfortunately, they are in fact wrong. And we get them pretty good. I am the true downloader. That's pretty medium. I think I just get rid of the regular Sigil, because I need to scout here and try and find answers in our deck. We're just going to pass. Not aggressive enough yet. We really need to get down to setting up that Moment of Humility. It also looks like a deck where Moment of Humility is going to be very good. We're gonna torch this, by the way. We don't want to let them get another relic out of their market and be able to stop us here. This might be where display to return the Prideleader will be really good, because it looks like they could probably have like another obelisk style card or a chalice, things like that. Kind of expecting something along those lines. And since I did just say that I want Display of Instinct, I'm going to hold on to it. We've got Ice Bolt and Equivocate held up. And currently our opponent can't get through. Permafrost, sure. Just gonna bolt that. We can take one for a few more turns.
Trust the winds.
Gust Rider.
A delightful breeze.
I'm discarding a teacher. Crest again here. Hurler's not that bad. Hurler kills one of their units, is a 3/3, and just kind of an obnoxious threat against them. It's not amazing, though. That's a tough one. I think I bottom Hurler. I've got a little bit of time. Go off Evangel. Good news is that we know that that's happening. So at this point, gonna return this.
Trust in yourself.
They got something out of the market. It's fast. Huh. Oh, I just brain dead. Equivocate. Sure. So I took 2 damage there that I didn't need to. My brain just kind of melted for half a second. I was so busy focusing on doing this. Alright, now I guess we pass the turn. Getty spot. I'm waiting for them to have another obelisk here, because they're going... If they didn't have obelisk in the market, because they've got them in the main. That's 100% what it is. Here we are. Now we might be cooking with some gasoline. I need to find a Hailstorm, because that ends this game fast. Display of Instinct. I mean, helpful. Not super helpful. I honestly think I get rid of Ice Bolt, because I don't want to give them the power.
Don't make me
I'm going to play the Jotun. I actually think I play that to hold up display. It kind of sucks because we want to be able to market it away, but I like having a counter.
Got you.
Just gonna get rid of things that can draw them cards if they manage to get something good. And I'm playing that because I desperately need to scout and find non-power cards. Currently 11-6. I mean 10-6 still because of the merchant, but yikes. Please. Deck, give me some chances. Oh, just stuck. They should be attacking now with some of these, yeah. Which, yeah, I'll make the trade, I think. Sure, just keep passing. They've got to start just attacking all out. I could probably just return this. It's probably the right thing to do. Start getting Moment of Creation online. Could just go for the Cirso's Choice, too. That was probably the right thing to do. Okay. Block there. We're taking 6 damage, and I can equivocate that. I think that's the correct thing to do. And yeah, I'm gonna, at this point, I just need to get that merchant back. This draw has been abysmal.
Trust in yourself.
But we can recover out of it by setting up this please deck. We can recover from it by setting up Cirso's Choice, I'm pretty sure. And this looks pretty good for us, I would say still. We've got to stop drawing power soon, right? Right? Right.
Trust the winds.
That's a good draw. It's a very good draw. I need to find some non-power cards. That'll help a little bit. Torch and another display. So now we can display back the merchant again, since apparently that's the only way for us to get gas. And I think Moment of Creation is the way to try and end this game. In fact...
Trust in yourself.
I'm just going to do it right now. Our opponent has decided that their deck of 1/1s eventually we're going to get gas, and then we're going to win. I'd say that's fair. Whew, what a game, though. That was really tough to find a lot of gas there. But we've managed to get our win. Let's go. Time to turn it around. Game 4, baby. We have the Garden of Omens. Missing time, but we do get double scout. We've got a torch for early game. We have the ice bolt. Are they really telling us to hurry already? I think I keep this. That is some next level impatience. That's a nice draw. And that color combination, they're either Ixten, maybe Haru, but it's probably the Ixten deck, which means that Hurler is not amazing. I think I'm going to bottom that on the assumption that they're probably the Ixten. Yeah, and Strategize kind of cements it. This is going to be a very tough matchup again, then. Although we'll see. If our opponent's really impatient, maybe we can make them make some mistakes. Because if they're already annoyed at us thinking for 10 seconds about our starting hand, that might make them vulnerable to making some real bad mistakes here. Not that we should assume they'll do that. Aegis is so good. Doesn't really matter what we get. We're at a point where whatever we have is fine. We've got enough for anything. Yeah. And they'll get our Garden of Omens. Pretty easy choice. They had basically the ideal start, which is your turn 3 merchant into Royal Decree. I mean, that's just what you get, right? If we don't have a way to stop it right away, that's always going to be their play. Try and stop us from having anything. Welcome to Royal Decree territory. It's obnoxious, but that's what it does. Oof. That would have been kind of nice to be able to hold up, but we wouldn't have had a chance anyways. All of our power has been depleted, unfortunately. It's going to continue to get cards out of our deck. Hold up the display here. They're fairly likely to play their own garden, is the thing, so I want to be able to kill it. We'll see. I mean, our opponent's doing a lot of emoting to probably try and, like, throw us off or something. I don't know. Or they just like to tilt people. Who knows? It's hard to say. We'll play the Hurler here, because that can just be a decent blocker. They can use removal on it, but it does mean that we get a 2-for-1. And now, garden? There's the garden. So we have an answer for that, or we can use the display to answer the channel that they got to the top of the deck. But I kind of feel like we need to kill the garden, honestly. As much as that sucks. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Got another torch in their hand. Good to know. In the meantime, we can hold up torch and Ice Bolt, or we could snowball this to pop Aegis. I think I'm going to pop the Aegis for now and then pass. Because we can still hold up either one, right? We still have one torch and one Ice Bolt. Yeah, I've got a lot of card draw here. Really nice start. The early Royal Decree is nasty, and then just lots and lots of draw afterwards. Strategize and Honor and Garden. They've had an excellent, excellent hand. On curve Garden, Honor right afterwards, Strategize early, the early Royal Decree. Kind of exactly what you want out of this style of deck. Kill that now so that they don't have a chance to continue to buy back that Royal Decree and get us again. Which we saw last time that we played against this deck. Let's get our own card draw going. Hailstorm is not going to be great against them, so we're just going to chuck that. Hold up displays instead.
Something catch your eye.
This could very easily be for like a reread. Could be that they have another garden in the market. I don't know exactly what their market is going to be. There's a few things that can hit. That's nice, but it's so vulnerable to them just wiping the board. And I have these displays. It's going to cost us so much power to get there, though. I'm super worried about the reread Royal Decree here, so I'm just gonna pass. Okay, another garden. Go for another resurface. Which, yep. I should have killed this, so they just didn't have all of this for free. That was a bad mistake on my part. Yeah.
Trust in yourself.
Get it now, at least, although it's not what I wanted. They can't reread and use the Royal Decree now. I could go for Equivocate Ice Bolt, which I kind of like. It does allow them to play the channel naturally, which is unfortunate. But I just don't want them to be able to Royal Decree us again. That's definitely going to be the plan here from them. If we allow that. I feel like we go for the moment. They're very likely to have a board wipe. But at least then they're not channeling us. Gives us a chance. We now have Aurelian Merchant, which is good. And considering what we've been playing, they might not have gone for the board wipe.
This ends now.
I could very easily see them deciding not to go for it, because we're very obviously not a unit deck, right? Who knows? Our deck isn't meta either, so they could easily choose that we're not going Moment of Creation, and we are also trying to use the channel. So I thought they might actually consider that. Turns out they didn't. But that's alright. Ooh. We have some options here. I'm just going to Treasure Trove for now. I actually want to keep the Zoe. And I'm going to hold on to this, because I really want to be able to market it away and get the other Moment of Creation here. Maybe that's wrong. Maybe I should play it because I want to get close to 10? I feel like the odds that I have to use Display of Instinct against a channel here is very, very high, though. I'm gonna scout. I don't mind that. I don't love it, but I don't mind it. I'm gonna keep it. And we'll pass. Sure. Channel the Tempest, and stopped.
Trust in yourself.
That was an interesting bug. Both of them just disappearing. I think I need to play the Zoe. I could take a risk and strategize first. That's scary, though. I don't have any way to really stop things. I could Cirso's Choice to gain life and stop another channel, at least from dealing the damage. The problem is that, of course, the card draw is maybe the bigger problem. I'm actually going to strategize first here. I don't mind going Aurelian Merchant. And if we draw a power card, then I can just still slam the Zoe anyways. Torch probably doesn't matter. Alright. Now the question is, do we Moment or do we Cirso's? And I think the answer is Moment. Try and force them to have board wipes for each of our individual units at this point. So we'll play the Zoe, and then when they board wipe that, then we can play Moment of Creation. They just drew a natural Royal Decree. Wow. Okay. I haven't seen them play a lot of multiple copies. That's obnoxious. And especially since we got that out of the market, so now they know that all of them are gone forever. So we don't really have that option anymore. Oh, and they're just going to Royal Decree us again. So we're actually out of ways to... Oh! They went for Channel instead of Royal Decree. Oh, that was another Moment, I think. I mean, it's possible that it wasn't, but... brutal. Problem is, this just dies immediately to the channel. We're letting them know that we don't have anything. At the same time, if we can stop drawing power, that would be nice. So, thinning out the deck. It's a very, very mild change, but it's something. Yeah, they'll just have it forever now. Sick. Good draws. That Royal Decree was very, very good. Oh, wait, they don't... Sorry, they don't have a Stop Forever, because they didn't have Onslaught on it. So that one was definitely just a natural Seek Power. I don't know why I thought about that. Give me a display. We're kind of out of them, for the most part. Darn. So they've got the win, but we'll give them the option of maybe making a mistake and actually just going for the Zoe. Sometimes people will do stupid things like that. No, they're just gonna choose to toy with us. Sure. Like, they had to kill. All they had to do was just replay Channel again. Oh, they... Right! No, what am I doing? It's Voidbound. What did they even get with it, then? Am I insane? They had to have gotten Harsh Roll. I'm not paying attention. I'm too in my own world thinking about what I can draw to get out of this, rather than actually paying attention to what my opponent's doing. I'm running into brain fart after brain fart here. I don't think that it really matters. They're miles ahead of us. This is a very, very tough matchup for us. There we go.
Unleash the storm.
Yeah, tough matchup for us. And I just kind of zoned out there at the end. It's just a tough one. Not a lot that we can do about that deck, honestly. I think that there'd need to be a lot of changes to this deck to actually make it super viable against that. It's a rough one. We hadn't seen a lot of it before, but we're seeing so much more of it at the top ranks now that I don't think that this is a very good idea against that particular deck, and therefore probably not good against the top ranks. That being said, against the lower ranks, I think this is still really good. But I'll get into that a little bit more after we do our last game. Oof. Not the start we want. We really need to get more power here. Been having a lot of problems with having undepleted power. We need those Seek powers early on. This is better. This is much, much better. It's still not great, but it's got a chance. We just need to have a better matchup. We need to not be playing against that specific Ixtun deck, which is apparently all over the place right now. This is better for us. Might actually blow a torch on that. Because then we can follow it up with the snowball. Have the ice bolt for something afterwards. It's not ideal, but stopping them from attacking early on is good. We'll have the Jotun Hurler afterwards to deal with some things. It'll just be a blocker. Ooh, nothing from our opponent? That's bad news for them. So they've just got some torches, maybe an ice bolt.
A great find.
Sure. Speaking of ice bolt, do I use it? I don't think I want to use it on that in particular. And even though this is slow, I think I'm going to honor the clause. I really need to find a Hailstorm. Hailstorm would be great. Well, this is certainly a hand now. Scared of the Seek power. Play Jotun Hurler or Ice Bolt plus Display. I think that's got to be it. I'd like to have more power cards, but considering what we have, this is better. Hailstorm. No, but not the worst thing. Gonna draw first, because there's always the possibility that we just draw the Hailstorm. Get Garden of Omens instead. And we'll pass the turn. There's no reason to Ice Bolt now. Like, doing something like an Ice Bolt now doesn't really make sense, because we give them the power undepleted on their turn, essentially. Yeah. I could kill the site. I could kill the Wump. Killing the site does remove 1 power. So we only take 4 instead of 5. Killing Wump obviously does more, but leaving them the site is a problem. I think I'll deal with that for now. I'm not super excited about this, but it's what we have. Ooh, we can Aurelian Merchant and go for that Cirso's Choice, which is very nice. That definitely seems like the play, and we can get rid of the Zoe that way as well. So now we've got the Cirsos, we've got the Ice Bolt held up. And while we're low, we're in okay shape. We really wanted to find a Hailstorm early. Ugh. Man, Display of Instinct would have been so good here. We needed more power early. Yeah, 6 versus 5. Not what we want, especially with an Aurelian Merchant against an aggro deck. But might have been more sense to actually start killing this. I'm surprised how much burn they've had. I feel like the Cirso's Choice might just have to protect our face at this point. I'm just not hitting power cards. I guess I should have discarded one of these and kept the Seek power. But my assumption was that eventually I would draw some amount of power. Another like 4 turns, 5 turns in a row of not hitting any has been a little disastrous here. Like, we can Garden of Omens, but if they just have another Obliterate or Double Torch or something, we're just dead anyways. Well, I guess not, because I'll be shooting that down. Still, something like Champion of Fury 2. There's a lot of things that can hurt us really badly. Cirso's Choice feels like it plays around things a little bit better. Okay. So here's my worry. Do they have a torch and they're waiting for us to use one of these so that we have it down? Very possibly. But I have to take a risk. Wow, that is not good. These draws have been unfortunate. I kind of need to hold up the display of instinct because I'm just dead to so many things if I don't. Snowball me in the face again. Yup. Looks like I can kill the Thunderrocks.
Trust in yourself.
I know they didn't have a torch last time, so I've got to assume they don't. At this point, we don't need that anymore. And again, I think I'm just stuck holding up this display. This is miserable. Drawing all of these was really, really awful. If I draw another power card, I can at least hold up display. I think that's the best I can do. Alright, well. Yikes. You really don't want to have less power as the super control list against the aggro deck. Somehow, we are still alive. I'm so worried about just getting burned out here, though. Do I just take Seek Power so I can hopefully get more? Feels so bad, but it might be the right play. Actually think I might need Wisdom, though. Wisdom can hopefully draw us more gas, specifically more power cards. And just other things as well. Yeah. Torch for the face. Do they have a second one?
Trust in yourself.
Okay, Equivocate is a thing. Do they draw another burn spell? Not yet. That's good. Let's play some of these. I mean, it might be time for us to just take the risk. And by might be, I mean... Let's go. So now the question is, do they get to burn us? Not yet. I finally found the power. I don't really want it right now, but I did find it. This is such a nail-biter of a game. Do they draw their burn? Whew. Wow, what a game. We got very lucky they didn't find any more torches or, like, a couple of charge units, like a couple of Champion of Furies could have put us down a couple times there. That was a tight game. I was really hoping we would get more power after I dunked that Seek Power. That or just like Strategize, Seek Power. Like there was a lot of things that we could draw, but I just kept on finding that Garden of Omens over and over and over again. I'm glad we made it out. That was a close one. As you can see, though, I feel like this deck is pretty well suited against a Yeti-style deck. So look at what your meta is. I think that if you're fighting against, like, even Paladins or, like, low-end Argenport. So I've seen some Argenport decks that were not even Paladins, but were still, like, Hojin, Anointer, that style of thing, Sadidi, stuff like that. This deck is pretty decent against those. Hailstorm clears out a lot of the early game. You don't have to worry about Sadidi kind of cards too much because you still have Ice Bolts, you still have got Equivocate. And they don't have a ton of things like that. Obviously, that large Argenport list kind of surprised me. I hadn't seen one that was really like that very recently, so that one was a lot worse for us. Also influenced by the fact that they had Triple Vara, Double Marshal, which is probably a little bit of a more abnormal draw for their deck, considering how fast that game was. But at the same time, it's probably worse there. But if you're looking at like more aggressive Argenport strategies, which tends to be more common right now, or Yeti, this deck is pretty solid against those. It's really, really good there. Moment of Creation can come down on a very early turn with this game, with this deck, just because of the fact that you've got the Garden of Omens to make it cheaper. So you can get a Moment of Creation on like turn 6 and slam it, and you actually want to do that a fair bit of the time. So Moment of Creation doesn't have to be 11/11s in this deck. It can just be like 6/6s, 5/5s, and that'll end a lot of games. The low-end Argenport decks tend to not have a lot of board wipes. Board wipes until this Ixtun deck started coming around, weren't really a thing for most of the decks that I was seeing at the top of the meta. You were seeing a lot of, like, low-end Argenport lists, Praxis, and the Yeti deck, and none of those have a really good way to deal with, like, a good 2-for-1 on turn 6 that could be, like, 6/6s or 7/7s. That's just kind of a lot of value, and Moment of Creation was really good there. So against those style of decks, Moment of Creation does really well. If you're seeing a lot more of that Ixtun deck, where they're running a lot of the board wipes, this is going to be a bad deck to play. And you saw that, like, we just were such underdogs to all of the Ixtun decks that we played against today. But we did well against some of the other ones. So, you know, just a thing that you've got to pay attention to for your own personal meta. I would say at the top of the meta, a lot of the Ixtun decks seem to be more and more common, and that's really come out in the last couple days. If you aren't at the top of the meta, though, and you might be seeing a lot more, like, kind of fast rank-up decks, like Yetis, this deck can definitely get those. A bunch of Hailstorms cleans those out real fast, and then we've got, like, all the Torches and Equivocates and Ice Bolts. There's a lot they have to get over from us, so we've got a lot of early removal, and it's nice. In any case, I hope you enjoyed this. I really loved playing for all of you wonderful people. I will be back again next week with another deck, and I'm really, really hoping by then that we have Set 7. There's no official release date, but we are currently in the preview event, so I've got to imagine it's coming. It should be coming this week, so I'm super excited about that. I'll definitely be putting out a bunch more Eternal decks when that comes out, because I want to do a ton of brewing. I'm very excited for Flame Exalta, and I hope you are as well, because we're going to get a bunch of new content when that comes out. And in the meantime, you can always check out some of my other stuff. Like, we put up some Goose Game playthrough recently. I did a little goof at the start of that for an intro. I had a lot of fun with that, so hopefully you enjoyed that as well. And of course, big shout out to all the subs and patrons that made this possible, and to RookieBob for sending this deck in. Originally a Kamado list. I believe they said they made a couple of changes, but it was very much inspired by, or it might even just be a straight up Kamado list. I don't remember entirely off the top of my head. But nice submission from them, and a very cool list for us to win our Tournament of Power. And then, of course, a big shout out to my other sponsor, inkgaming.com, where I have a store. You can get cool shirts and hoodies and dice bags, like playmats, mouse pads. They do all kinds of wonderful stuff. And yeah, you can check that out down below. I'll see you next week.